Hey, you guys, welcome back to Naughty Love Movement. It's your girl, Nikki, and today I'm bringing opportunities for advertisement on my channel. If anyone is interested, they can email us at naughtylove2020@gmail.com. Our prices are affordable and reasonable, and please reach out to us. We can start our videos with any commercials that you would like us to advertise. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out. One. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to Naughty Love Movement. It's your host, Naughty, bring you the latest and trending topics, and I vlog my life. I wasn't going to go live, but I started seeing clippings of the Piers Morgan Uncensored show with Candice Owens, Lamount Hill, and Lord Jamar. And I said, I got to have a reaction video to this because they brought up some very good points. And I wanted to react with my naughty crew with it. They got into Diddy. They got into the politics. It got heated. And Candace Owens is very controversial. Lord Jamar could be very controversial. I wanted to get y'all perspective. So this is definitely an open panel. So, hey, grown woman, please feel free to come up at any point if you want to react to a certain part of the show. Everything that we discuss here falls under fair use commentary, and we have to give credit to Piers Morgan Uncensored. The title of the show is Diddy Has Tapes on Everyone. Candace Owens versus Lamont Hill. In the N Naughty crew, it was Lamont Hill versus Lord Jamar. Okay, because Piers, he loved to throw a monkey wrench in the things. And I can't even stand what he's doing, but he's doing the same thing DJ Vlad doing. Okay, hey Bobby. All right, so please thumbs up this video, share this video out so that we can get in the algorithm. Donations definitely appreciate it. And follow me on all my different social media platforms, and they're all scrolling below on my banner. All right, I'm gonna drop this intro to give people a chance to load up in the room, and when I come back, we're gonna get into it because that show got heated. Piers know what he's doing, but it's much needed conversation. It's much needed conversation. And the Hollywood needs to hear this, and how the basic public feels about how people are so silent when it comes to the Diddy situation, but yet they want to be out here saying they're champions for their community and they're champions for Black people and they're protectors of women, but yet they all stand by watching laws be broken. Drop this intro. I'll be right back. Thumbs up this video. Yes, thank you all for joining me. Hey, great people, what's going on? He has a great channel. Please go over to his channel and subscribe. Like this video, because chow, I had to get me some fresh queso from Chipotle and a fresh cup of apple juice. Okay, we are here for it. We're going to get into this reaction video, and trust me, it got controversial right away. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to play a little music just to protect us from copyright strike and things like that. Because we have to protect our platform. Yes, because Piers might get on one and start striking everybody. I'll keep it low. Is that too loud? Let me know if it's too loud, if you can't hear the video. Here we go. Everything we discuss here falls under fair use commentary and it's for educational purposes, and everything we discuss here is in our opinion, okay? We're not saying that it's fact or fiction, but we're entitled to all our opinions. All right, here we go.
P. Diddy. This seems like every day the scandal gets bigger and worse for him.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I'm not surprised whatsoever. I mean, I think I was on your show before he got arrested and I brought up what was going on with him, and because I had read through the lawsuit, and it was just one of those things that was unavoidable because there was so much evidence. I mean, there was picture documentation, there was video documentation. And I also want to be clear that the press and the media and the public at large is shocked by what's happening, but we really are just getting to the beginning of everything. There are a lot of people who have been named that have not been brought to heel, people that were above him, music executives. And none of this is shocking, really. I think, yesterday a report came out that showed that faith in the mainstream media is at an all-time low, right? I think something like 65% of Americans no longer trust the mainstream media. The Diddy case is a perfect example as to why that is. You have people that spent so much time defending this man. This man was allowed to be with every presidential.
This man was allowed to use media to bully, harass, manipulate the public. That's why we don't trust mainstream media. And yet, they laugh at us over here on YouTube, but everybody's running to YouTube. Thumbs up this video. We're doing a reaction video, okay, to Piers Morgan's show, and it got heated. And can I just say, Candice Owens is not my favorite person all the time. I don't agree with all her perspectives, because quite frankly, she could be annoying. Hey, Shay B, thank you for joining. But yeah, that's why we don't trust mainstream media, because the rich are able to pay the media to spin the narrative to lie to the public. That's why we don't like mainstream media right now, because the mask is coming off.
Candidate. He was allowed to throw parties. He was hailed as a hero. And yet behind the scenes, everyone knew that this is what he was engaged in. This was an open secret in Hollywood. In fact, when Kanye last year said that he was a Fed and started speaking about some of these allegations, he was simply dismissed as crazy. People at the upper echelons of society and politics knew about this and they were okay with it. Fundamentally, because he was acting a part, I very much believe what Kanye alleged, that he was acting a part like Jeffrey Epstein, in which he was collecting blackmail over various people that were in Hollywood. And so, like I said, we're at the beginning. We're scratching the surface of this scandal. There are some more big names that are going to have to answer for it. And I think also the silence of certain individuals like LeBron James is quite deafening. A person who claims to care so much about Black life, Black Lives Matter on the
coming from the person who was wearing a White Lives Matters t-shirt, okay? Anyway, look, when Kanye came out with that rant saying that Diddy was the feds, I believed it. I mean, here on the East Coast, we've been knew about Diddy, and we've been watching him get away with crimes. You got to be feds to be able to get away with a lot of the stuff that he's gotten away with through the years. I mean, come on. Let's talk about it. The stampede at the college in New York City College, all right? 9 people lost their lives. He was not held accountable. The shooting in the club, that 1999 shooting, okay? He was able to pay off witnesses, pay off jury, and things like that to get out of it, How many other things are surrounding P. Diddy when it comes to breaking the law? He has to be feds. But because the noise got so loud with Cassie dropping that lawsuit, now the feds have to do something about him, right? Telling you, until I see him in that courtroom, I don't believe they got him locked up. I think he's still living a cushy life and he's still getting some privileges. He's still trying to coerce the court to let him know. He's still using the media to manipulate public opinion. Thumbs up this video.
The ground, taking a kneel. Okay, that's fine. But now you have a friend of yours who has been on camera beating a Black woman. Okay, you said nothing when that happened. You also know that you have various Black people speaking out about how they were abused by him, and you have said nothing. So I don't like the hypocrisy behind that.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I mean, Mark, there are lots of big names being dragged into this. We don't know where the truth lies with that yet. But certainly people like LeBron have been deafening with their silence for the reasons that Candice just articulated. It reminds me a little bit of Epstein in relation to all the apparent taping of videos and pictures and stuff that was allegedly going on. And we'll see what that plays out like in a courtroom. But it also reminds me of Harvey Weinstein in the sense that there you had somebody in the movie industry, as big as P. Diddy, I think the most Oscar-nominated person in the history as a producer in Hollywood, where everyone must have known something about him, right? I mean, I knew that Harvey was a pretty bad bully and all the rest of it. And it must have been more than an open secret.
Your child needs these 3 key factors to get into an Ivy League or top
Hollywood crowd.
Did you know about Diddy, Piers?
No, I didn't. No.
Everyone knew. Everyone knew, right? Hold on. Everyone knew, but everyone looked the other way. Why? Because he was so powerful, right? He was the gatekeeper to the music industry. I dropped the link if anyone wants to come up and sound off at any point in time about this interview. Please feel free. This is a reaction video. Please thumbs up this video. Hey, cousin, I see you. Hey, Be More Shorty. Hey, Juby Bugging. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Candice Owens, too. Yes. Everyone knew. Everyone knew, but everyone looked the other way. Why? Out of fear. Fear for their careers. Fear for their lives. All right? Let's get into it.
No,
Wait a minute.
Well, I'll tell you, I met Diddy a couple of times. I mean, here's what the analogy I'm going to make is, I met Diddy twice for about 10 minutes. Harvey, I knew a lot better, and I knew there was an unsavory side to him. I didn't know about all the rape stuff that then emerged, but I do believe there must have been a lot of people who did know that stuff, who were around Harvey Weinstein at a close enough level to know that. And I certainly believe with P. Diddy that there were a lot of people that were going to these freak parties and so on, who must have known for many, many years that all this stuff was going on. That's the parallel I'm drawing.
No, I understand the parallel you're drawing. The idea that I'm disputing is just the idea that everyone knew, or that
I don't mean everybody. I mean, look, I just think a lot of people must have known.
Of course. We're not in disagreement about a few things. First, everything that Diddy has been accused of is despicable and indefensible. And I hope that he is held accountable in all the ways that are fair and just and reasonable. There are, who knows how many victims? There are lots of...
Yeah. I hope he's held accountable too, because he's been able to pay his way out of everything else. Thumbs up this video. Let me see what y'all saying in the comments. Shaby, she said, Candice is intelligent. I actually enjoy watching her. Certain things I can get with her on, and then certain things I can't. Like, I love when she trashes the Kardashians. You know what I mean? But I say it all the time. I'm never going to agree with any YouTuber or commentator on YouTube 100%. We're all just different. We're all built different. Oh, Be More Shorty said Piers is lying. He's been at the party. Sean John Combs is doing home monitoring. Yeah, do you think them arresting him was just to appease the public? That's how I feel. Because why didn't we get the close-up perp walk, right? Why didn't we get the mugshot? They're saying the feds won't release his mugshot until the trial starts. But why are we waiting so long for this trial? There's a lot of shadiness going on around here, and something's not clean in the water. And they all knew, right, cousin? They all knew. They all knew about the kids. They all knew about the parties. They all knew about the criminal acts that P. Diddy was committing, but no one felt the need. No one had the courage enough to say anything to the authorities or anything. 50 Cent has been saying anything, but he too never went to the authorities. Well, we don't know if he did. All right.
Allegations. I have no doubt that lots of the allegations are true. And as Candice said, I have no doubt that lots of people have known for a long time. And there are lots of reasons why people didn't come forward. Some of it is good old fashioned, Hollywood culture, which is people are getting exploited, people are getting hurt, people are getting harmed. But as long as it's the old boys network, we don't care. And Diddy became one of the old boys network. The old boys network isn't just old white men. It also includes powerful, rich black men. Not in the same way, but certainly people like Diddy are in that mix. I don't disagree with that. I'm very uncomfortable throwing LeBron James's name out there as someone who knew something or has some
Well, no, I think, to be fair, yeah, but on that, I think Candice was quite careful how she worded that. She didn't say that he knew. She just said he's been deafening by his silence, which he has. He's been very vocal about a lot of other issues involving the black community in America. Why is he so silent? Just because it happens to be somebody he used to.
Yeah, why is he so silent? Why is Hollywood so silent, especially once they saw that video? Why are they so silent? Especially being that he's locked up right now. Could it be that they feel like he could still get out? There's a chance he can get out? Because he championed himself on being untouchable. Being able to get what he wants. He's on video footage. I'll get what I want. He's on video saying, I'm going to show you how we get away with crimes. There's video footage of him saying that. That's power. Child.
To party with. It's just interesting.
It is interesting, but I want to caution the audience not to jump to any conclusions about why LeBron hasn't. Again, let me be very clear. LeBron should speak out about this because something awful happened, and he has a duty. I think all public figures have a duty to speak out against awful, morally atrocious things that happen. I just don't want to leap to a conclusion. I'm not saying Candice did, I'm not saying you did, but I don't want to leap to a conclusion.
Why not? Hey, D. Smith, why not? Why not? Where's John Legend? They were so loud for R. Kelly, right? The takedown, surviving R. Kelly. Where's John Legend? Where's Jay-Z?
That there's some other sort of reason why he may have done this. The other thing here is
I just remember I just remember.
I just need you to hear.
Okay, yeah,
go ahead, Piers. I'm sorry.
Well, the point I was going to make, just on the point you made.
All I was going to say is. Sorry.
All right.
Okay. There's just a little delay.
Let me go first. Let me go first. The point I was going to make about the
you
point.
Go first. You go first.
You just made a really good point, which I want to make a point of, which is I think that the point I would make was when Harvey Weinstein went down, there was an absolute stampede of celebrities in Hollywood who rushed to distance themselves and publicly denounce him. And I've just noticed that with P. Diddy, there's been a very, very, very small number of high-profile black celebrities, including sports stars, entertainers, and so on, who have chosen to.
Thumbs up this video. Okay, Be More Shorty said, LeBron be minding his NBA business. You don't like when we play commercials. We'll wait till that passes.
Well, I think there's another thing here, right? Harvey Weinstein was a predator, full stop, right? Diddy is, based on the evidence, a predator, full stop, and some other stuff. And
I think they all predators. and then some. Plus to the umpteenth power. Why? Because they participating in these demonic spiritual rituals so that they can maintain their power, their money, their influence. That's what it comes down to.
And there are a lot of people, based on what I know, people I've spoken to, the stories I've heard, and the rumors I've heard for 20 years now about Diddy that aren't always about predation. And that's the complicated thing here, right? A lot of the
why does
details,
that make it
a lot of the
complicated?
gossip, a lot of the nastiness. You'll just hear me out, you'll understand.
Okay.
The thing is, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the subtext around Diddy isn't about predation, it's around sexuality. And so a lot of people aren't really outraged, especially in the hip hop community, that Diddy was preying on underage girls allegedly, or that he's beating up Cassie allegedly. Some people are just weirded out that he may have been having sex with dudes. And so there's a multiple things happening here. And so a lot of the people in Hollywood who are being quiet on Diddy, they're not being quiet because they knew he was doing something illegal. Some of them are quiet because they were at the parties, they were at the freak-offs doing freaky stuff. And the freaky stuff isn't illegal, but it can ruin your career in a society that's homophobic. So I'm saying it's a lot of things mixed in.
Okay, Candice, you're raising your hand. I think I know why, but go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you in some ways. What I would just add is it's without question because they did not know that he was recording them. I mean, when I read through that lawsuit, Rodney made it very clear that he had hidden cameras. And if you are a person like LeBron who says ain't no party like a Diddy party, you got Ashton Kutcher talking about what happens at Diddy parties, stays at Diddy parties. And finally you learn via the press that actually Diddy has been collecting evidence on all of you and you don't know where those tapes are. That will buy your silence for quite some time because you're hoping that if you keep your head low, you're not going to be revealed as one of these people that was engaged in some of these acts, whether they were heterosexual or homosexual, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're just cheating on your wife and you don't want that to get out into the public. Maybe you were, as Cat Williams described it, in one of the rooms. He said you could just walk around the house. He said this on stage years ago, that you could walk around the house and you would see people engaged in various sex acts. And again, Cat Williams was someone who was dismissed as crazy and dismissed as a drug addict. And it turned out that, or it seems that if these allegations are proven to be true, and I believe they are, then he was telling the truth. And I think that is the reason that so many of them are silent, because they were doing things. They thought that they were his friend, that they were bad boys for life, and that he would keep things silent, when in reality, he was just another Jeffrey Epstein typed character. And they're scared for their lives. Yeah, especially if you're someone like a LeBron James. And I'm not alleging that he is caught in something terrible, but if he was caught in anything and you're LeBron James and you've made your mark on talking about the ills of society and you have minted yourself a king.
Also, they may not know that they're on tape. Remember, there was a lot of spiked drinks going around. There was a lot of rug use going around. What if they just don't remember? They just don't know. Yes, exploiting the culture for profit and they allowing it, child. He is a culture vulture just like Vlad TV, Couture Bay. Yes, and I dropped the link. Just anybody want to come up, y'all can come up. Feel free to come up. But he been exploiting all these YouTubers on here to what? Grow his channel. But I thought this show was particularly good because it's driving for good conversation.
And you're speaking out on the Black community and they find out you're the room over while someone's getting raped potentially, not going to look good.
Well, I just think that we don't know, as you say, where the truth lies with this, and we're not inferring anything against LeBron or Ashton Kutcher or anybody else.
Correct.
I had Jaguar Wright on, who made a number of allegations against Beyonce and Jay-Z, which we were not able to independently substantiate, which were vigorously
Which
denied.
was ridiculous that they sent you a cease and desist.
They just said these allegations are completely.
They should have sent you a cease and desist.
Well, no, I'll tell you what they sent me.
Hey, Bree, welcome to the panel.
Hey. Yes. Good afternoon. I love what you're doing. I just want to say this. I know a lot of people don't like what Jay-Z and Beyonce did, but he was not able to provide receipts, hence meaning he could be sued for defamation, libel, and slander, right? And I get what Candice is trying to do, but don't be trying to milk this information as if you care about the community, because she doesn't care either. She's just exploiting who she can exploit now because it's a good chess move. Am I mad at it? No. Am I mad at Jay-Z and Beyonce? No. Do I believe in censorship? No. But come on now. She was censored by her former boss. So if you're not going to discuss that, I don't feel you should be able to discuss this, because she went over there cute and mute and shut up. So I don't know.
Period.
I don't have a problem with this interview at all, but I did notice how they treated, of course, Piers Morgan. But of all the people who've had platforms that had that Jaguar right content, they knew what time it was, because she showed us the receipts for Vlad. She never showed the receipts for Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Right. Right. All right. We're going to continue to react. Thank you for your thoughts.
Actually, it wasn't even that. I'll tell you what happened. They just said, look, these allegations are completely untrue, and we will sue you if you don't take them down. We had no way of independently verifying anything she said in relation to Jay-Z and Beyonce. Now, who knows where this scandal goes, or what names get dragged in and in what way. But what it's taught me is you just have to be careful when a story like this breaks, that when we put big names into the scandal, you just don't infer they've done anything wrong yet. The only thing we can say, which is, I think, pertinent to this, comes back to what we said at the start. When people who are as normally vocal as LeBron, who can be as condemnatory as he's been publicly about all manner of issues, when they're completely silent about something as big as this, and they were good friends with P. Diddy and were at the parties and so on, you just raise an eyebrow, right? And you would about everybody. And it may well be, as Candice says, Mark, it might be a sense of unknown, not knowing what's on tape here, not wanting to get involved at all. Totally understand it. But I do remember, by marked contrast, the number of people in the Weinstein scandal who raced to publicly disown him. And interestingly, with Epstein, that didn't happen with him, because he also had a lot of tapes.
It's interesting. It's an interesting point, Piers. But I mean, again, Diddy is very interesting in that for the last 30 years, he has taken pictures and partied and hung out with everyone. Yes, he's hung out with politicians, but I guarantee you a lot of them politicians, I ain't saying all of them, but a lot of them politicians had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. When you go to a Diddy party, there's levels to the Diddy party. Yeah. There's the Diddy party at the club. There's the Diddy party at his house. Then there's the after party. Then there's the after party, right? I haven't been to any of those after parties or after parties, or you know what I mean, or any of those.
I just love how people are so quick to distance themselves. I've never been at a Diddy party. Oh, well, I left early. Oh, no. They're quick to say that, right, Bree?
Listen, when it comes to saying you've been at a party, I feel like in this day and age, it's best to say nothing, because people will twist your words. They will make it seem like you was out there doing something deviant when all you was doing was partying like any other party. I don't like the notion that it was just celebrities and these big time people. There were a lot of world officials who were going to these parties. He was sponsored by billionaire companies. A lot of people were sent there to go because their boss said, hey, you need to show up because so-and-so is going to be at this party. Close the deal. So I don't get why it has to be, if you go to a Diddy party, it was automatically a freak off. No.
Right. And that's where I disagree too. Just because someone goes to a party, that doesn't mean that they participated.
You could tell the people who was never invited, the people who was not part of the lit crew, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes down to the Epstein thing, see, Epstein was doing strictly SEX. There was no partying. It was strictly SEX, and he was paying top dollar for entertainers to come so it could have a certain appeal. See, people don't understand. You can be used and not know what's going on. That's why a lot of people are silent, aren't quiet. It's when we start talking about these Martha Vineyards and these Senator Rowe and things like that. Now, if we get to talk about that, then I'm all ears. And you know who was at those things? The Piers Morgans, the Candice Owens, the who's in the political space.
Wake it up, Bree.
You know, we want to talk about going to a Diddy freak off. And can we stop with this notion that because you were cool with somebody that was your friend?
Right.
Like,
and because a lot of these events are networking events, right? So that they can get leads to other jobs and figure out what other projects are going on, so that they can market themselves, right or wrong. It's not necessarily like I'm here to build a friendship.
No, it's weird. And why, when one person is under the radar, why do we have to bring all these other people in? Can we focus on the one? I think the issue with this Diddy-ish, this Epstein-ish, They wanted to do a documentary before waiting for the legal system to do what they need to do. Hence why all that Harvey Weinstein stuff went on. They were able to get off on technicalities. People don't understand that. They didn't do a Bill Cosby documentary. They waited.
Right. Right.
The rush to be first is really screwing
Oh,
over a lot of these victims.
TMZ is the number one culprit. They had to be number one, that they had started a whole Tubi series on the downfall of Diddy, even though Diddy has been paying them for years for media attention and things like that. Like, I just feel like it's the I want to be first era. Like, stop it. Wait for it. I think 50 gonna wait till he convicted. I don't know, to do his or close to it, or wait till the trial starts or something.
50, until you do right by them women, you better pray nobody comes out with an allegation on you.
Make sure your hands is clean, brother. Let's get back into this commentary.
Those parties, in fact. So I'm just speaking as a researcher here and as a journalist. I'm saying that there are levels to them. So there are lots of people who go to the Diddy parties that don't know any of that. But if you find out that all these awful things happen at Diddy parties at 4 a.m., it's hard to go to the media and say, yo, I was at the Diddy party, but I left at 12. Or I was in the Hamptons, but I didn't go to the next location. And so I think a lot of it is fear of public relations. And I think, to Candice's point, I don't think it's a coincidence that Diddy has all these strategic alliances with every single person in Hollywood, black or white. And I think Harvey Weinstein didn't have those types of relationships, so it was much easier for people to run from him. And also,
the kind of hypocrisy, though, Candice, which really gets my goat with this. Take somebody like John Legend, right, who decided to rewrite the lyrics to "Baby It's Cold Outside" because it endorsed sexual misconduct, which obviously was completely preposterous. It's one of the most innocent, flirtatious videos ever made back in the 60s about a beautiful love song. And it was completely misappropriated by Legend.
No, it was rapey. Knock it off.
It's not rapey at all.
Piers.
Baby, it's cold. Do you want to come in for a drink? It's cold outside. Do me a favor. And anyway, and even if you
keep saying no, and he keeps trying to get inside.
It was harmless flirtation, which completely misconstrued deliberately by John Legend to tick all the right virtue signaling boxes. But here's my point: what has John Legend said about?
Testify to that in court?
What has John Legend said about P. Diddy? He was enraged by a 1950s video of harmless flirtation, so much so he rewrote the lyrics. Candice.
He was also the champion behind Surviving R. Kelly. Y'all remember the first install?
I felt like he shouldn't have been over there either. Like, look, my issue with a lot of this stuff is we're trying to bring new morals and principles to things from 30 years ago, 50 years ago. It was a different time. Like, you were allowed to drink while you were pregnant back in the Gap and smoke. Like, why are we trying to bring the morals and principles of back then? Girls, the age of consent was different. Am I saying it's right? No, but if we're going to go by all this nuances, some of your grandpas and grandmas need to be put in prison. Your uncles and your aunties. Because I don't know why when we think about predatory behavior, we simply think men. There's women out here, grown women who had babies with dope boys. Hello, Big Meech. And they were children. Like, I don't get it. The nuances really irritate me. Let's just stick to the facts of the matter of what's going on in 2024 and what they transpired out of 2008.
Right. Thank you, Couture Bay. Yes. Stick to the times. All right. We have evolved. Things have changed. All right. So to bring up something that happened 30, 20 years ago, it's nothing we can do about that right now. We need to stay in the now. And you're right. There's a lot of predatory women out here. Trust me.
But he's not enraged enough by what he's reading about P. Diddy, someone he knows well, to make any comment that I've seen so far.
Right. And that is the reason why people can't stand the Hollywood types, and rightfully so. I mean, John Legend has always been a walking contradiction. He speaks often, oh, yes, the bullying of this cute Christmas song, but everybody loves, and I'm still going to play the original lyrics forever. But his wife is sliding into the DMs notoriously of teenagers and telling them they should kill themselves and offering like this small apology. Like, I'm really going to take some time off and think about this. So you married a bully. You have been at so many parties, friends with these people. You constantly purport that you're fighting for social justice on every cause. Like I said, the real litmus test was the video, which Diddy owned. That was him beating Cassie on tape. Okay, so forget if you're like, you want to play the card of, well, it's innocent until proven guilty. I know people are making all these allegations, but I'm going to wait. Where were you on the topic of Cassie being beat to a pulp on camera and Diddy offering this little meandering apology?
Wait a minute. And to that point, because in Dorn Rashad's lawsuit, he did it in front of executives, Usher. He laid hands on her.
Baby, that's the culture. Like,
that's the culture, and everybody looked the other way.
Cindy Station has a beautiful hot song that's going viral on TikTok again about how her man was hanging her from a balcony in Las Vegas. And the only reason he didn't unalive her is because he was more scared of the mob than he was the police. Okay? So that went #1 on the billboards. And she said, I'm singing a song about my pain and people are dancing to it. Ain't that neat? Like, I don't know why we're acting as if men and women getting knocked between the washer and dryer in Hollywood is strange. They do it all the time. They do it in politics. They do it in every genre of where you can make money.
Right.
It's the selective outrage for me. Because, Candice, are you calling out some of your political leaders for what they're doing? No.
No. She trying to debunk Kamala's race. That's her whole goal, and that's going to come up here soon. Thank you so much, Couture.
Let me respond to that because
I would just like to finish, if you don't mind. You're allowed to. There, we don't seem like doesn't seem like there's a buzzer here, so I think I can finish my thought. But you know, and that's what has become so problematic is they are constantly virtue signaling to the public about how great they are because they're not voting for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's such an awful person because he maybe cheated on his wife 16, 20, 30 years ago, whatever it is, and they just cannot muster that same energy when they are looking at proof, which somebody comes out and says, let's take full accountability. We heard that.
She's talking out both sides of her mouth now.
And this is, oh my goodness. And this is why I say you got to listen with your 2 ears and look with your 2 eyes and be cautious what you say with that one mouth.
Right. She's talking out both sides of her mouth. Because on one breath, you're expecting all these stars to come out and speak up in regards to Cassie and talk against Diddy, but yet you don't want to hold Donald Trump accountable for his misbehaving. Make it make sense.
That's me.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, Mark?
So here's my response, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Candice. Again, there's a sound delay. I thought you had paused. I wasn't trying to be rude. Forgive me. We're saying that John Legend didn't respond to Cassie or to the Diddy parties, and we're saying this as if it's true, but it's not true. And so I just want to read to you what John Legend actually said in response to this, and he said it months and months ago. He said, "I was horrified by the descriptions that I read before the video evidence came out," meaning he believed Cassie even before the video. He then said, "And absolutely, it's something that needs to be brought to light when it happens." He said, "My default stance is to believe women when they make these accusations and to make sure that we do whatever we can to support women." He also said that he was specifically horrified of this. And then he said, regarding to the other Diddy stuff, he said what he's accused of is shameful. And he said all the other victims that have alleged that he's abused them, it's quite a shame for them too. I really just want accountability and healing. So I think this is an opportunity for us to say, this is why we shouldn't jump to judgment. We're on international television, castigating John Legend for not doing the very thing that he actually did. Then all I had to do was type John Legend Diddy, and it came up first. So.
And that's how you got to check these people, because like I've been saying, a lot of people have been doing, they just been running with the guise of things in their mind and things that they can't. That's why I get why Jay-Z and Beyonce said, no, don't tie my name to this BS unless you have proof. And I keep saying, we need to stop saying so and so and so and so and so. That is clickbait as hell, because that was not in that 14th page indictment of Diddy.
Right. And unless Jay-Z is named in these lawsuits, is he really obligated to speak on this Diddy situation? Why would you want to, right? I don't know. But shout out to Lamount Hill. He pulled up the receipts on their asses. Let's hear what they have to say.
You guys owe John Legend an apology if you don't edit this.
Yeah, okay, so here's what I would say to that. It's right that you've pointed that out. My understanding is that were comments he made back in May, not since we've had the raft of charges against Diddy, which is what I'm talking about. So there's been nothing, it's been a deafening wall of silence since the charges. That's what I'm talking about.
We were just talking about Cassie. We specifically just said he didn't say anything about Cassie.
No, I think, look, Candice was talking about Cassie. He clearly did make a statement in referring to that, and that should be acknowledged. So that's fair enough to point that out.
I actually did not see the statement that he made about Cassie and read it in its entirety. So if I missed that, I'm more than happy to own it. I did not see him make a statement. And typically when he makes a statement, it's everywhere. So I guess they just hadn't picked up on what he said about Cassie, and he did great. I'm glad that he's one person in Hollywood who said something, because that was the most troubling for me with LeBron James. I'm like, we actually have video evidence of this. Like, everybody should be saying something about this.
I don't agree with that statement. I don't agree everybody should be saying something either. Because what if you have nothing to say? I think it's best to say nothing and stay out of it. Because again, let's say something happened to somebody we know in the content creator space. I'm not saying nothing. You know, I'm going to wait for the law to do whatever, then cast my damnation if I need to, or I'm going to continue on with my life. Like, Diddy is not his brother. It's not his father or his uncle. Why do these people have to say something about Diddy who are not tied to him?
I mean, and here recently, Couture Bay, just for example, it was a content creator that we both know, right? That went through some troubles. And everybody is like getting on Couture Bay, like, say something, say something. She really wasn't obligated to say anything. That is a grown-ass person, right? You are not their mama.
Yes. If I had not went through it, I would, baby, I went through it, okay?
So, I mean, that's the first thing that came to mind. But yeah, no, I don't agree with that statement either. Let's hear some more.
If you purport to care about women, and him and Chrissy Teigen are typically very loud on topic, his wife especially. So if I missed that and he said something about Cassie, good for John Legend. That makes he and I are on the exact same side on that. But it's not enough that it's just John Legend. Like, there needs to be a lot more people in Hollywood that are speaking out about what's happening.
Let me ask you, Mark.
I do want to say something real quick, Nadi. I'm sorry.
I was literally about to ask you about that.
I want to say a lot of people got offended when Megyn Kelly said shut up and dribble and shut up and play and shut up and write and shut up and sing. I think we need to go back to that, because everybody doesn't need to be a voice.
And everybody's opinion doesn't need to be out there. I think with social media, people feel like all opinions matter. And just because there's an issue, everyone has to give their opinion. And that's not necessarily true.
They're looking for the hot takes so they can break it apart. And that's how I feel about it. I want a lot of these celebrities to stop talking, so that way the victims can start standing up, because they're not. Like, even with all of this, all the lawsuits, people are still not standing up. They don't want criminal charges. What does that tell you? They don't care. They rather this person be out in the streets still committing the crimes, because as quiet as it's kept, that's what they're afforded the opportunity to do. When you sit there and go, I just want to get paid for my pain, which I'm not against, but I also say, while you're getting paid, let's press some criminal charges so that they can get off the streets. But I don't know. It makes me look at everybody like they lost their mind, and I don't know, but everybody has an opinion until it's time to put the people in their family in the prison cell where they belong.
Right. And they be loud and proud. If it was one of their family members involved in this scandal, you know what I'm saying? They'll be loud and proud then. But I agree. I think everybody just needs to shut up. I feel like a lot of times people speak from a place where they really don't have the correct knowledge, which an example of that just happened. Candice Owens just spoke on John Legend, right? And Lamount Hill just debunked that. He just pulled it right up and debunked it. And she still doesn't really take ownership. She still kind of deflects and distracts over it. But I just think we all need to let justice take its course here in this situation. I even said myself, like, I can't keep speaking on all these lawsuits because some of them seem frivolous, and it makes me feel really, really bad for the people who are really, really victims. And the attention is getting taken off of them onto people that are making lawsuits based on, okay, you were a sex worker and you were at our party. It's frivolous, it's irresponsible, and it takes away from the true victims. So let's get back into this commentary. Candice is gonna piss me off. I feel it.
You go ahead, Mark. Go on.
Because it's really fascinating here, right? So we're saying Diddy does this awful thing. Again, Diddy, despicable, monster. No defense of Diddy. We're asking all the prominent black people to speak out against it, right? But there is never a call for white people to denounce like no one says every white guy who's ever met Harvey Weinstein needs to say something.
Yes, there was. Of course there was.
No.
Literally everyone who ever worked with him was asked to condemn it. And most of them rushed to do it.
Piers, I want you to listen to what I said again, because you just disagreed with a point I did not make. I didn't say that everyone in Hollywood was not challenged to address Weinstein. I said there's a race piece to this. And people, by virtue of being black, are asked to denounce Diddy because they're supposed to be representing blackness in the black community. I'm saying that white people, by virtue of their whiteness.
Hang on.
That's exactly what Candice. That's exactly what Candice just said.
I said, no, Mark, hang
Candice, not you.
I'm not saying every black person has to comment on it because they're black. I'm saying I've been struck by the fact there is a massively smaller number of high-profile black celebrities who have spoken out comparative to what happened when Weinstein went down. So you're right that there is a race element to this, but it's the reverse one. Hang on. Let me finish. It's the reverse point to the one you're making. It actually is skewed against the white guy. He got more of a lambasting from celebrities than the black guy who's done arguably worse stuff.
Harvey Weinstein employed millions of people versus Diddy. Like, what are we talking about? Like, how are we what Mark Lamount Hill was a very telling point. I didn't see all of the A-list actors in Hollywood denouncing Harvey Weinstein.
Nope, I didn't.
So what is he talking about? Because I would have remembered that. Like, it would have been front page news. Honestly, it was like Harvey Weinstein got tried. We barely heard about it, and they went off to glory. The only one who was really saying something was Rose McGowan, and the media painted her to be an unhinged white woman. So, again, I don't like this tit for tat. I don't like this fakeness, and it's the picking and the choosing for me.
Yes,
because Piers Morgan has not talked about Garth Brooks' lawsuit.
Oh, hello. Why he only picking topics that affect our community? And he picking our black people on his panel. It's culture vulturing at its finest. I'm sorry.
I wish I had the same race goggles. It's amazing, Mark, that you always see a race angle here. The reason why I specifically called out LeBron James and these types is because they themselves are wearing the same race goggles. They purport to be the superheroes in the black community, that every time there's some sort of a social injustice playing out against the black victim, they use their platforms to speak out about it because they say, oh, it's so unfair that black people are not being believed. It's so unfair. Hashtag George Floyd, hashtag this person. So if you are going to assert yourself as a leader when black people make claims before they're proven in court, this might be a good time to do it when you have a man who had so much power in Hollywood and you just have an onslaught of black artists coming out saying that they were victimized by him. It might be a good time to use your platform. I'm calling out the hypocrisy and the double standard of that. If LeBron James had kept his mouth shut on every other issue and said nothing, I wouldn't be like, hey, why is LeBron James being quiet on this issue? I'd say he doesn't typically weigh in on anything. So it wouldn't make sense to put pressure on him to do it. That would be the scenario in which what you are saying would make sense. It's the exact opposite. I'm saying keep the exact same energy that you have had on every other black issue when it comes to your door and it pertains to a friend of yours that you were partying with. I think that's pretty sensible.
Let's talk about Skims. I used to layer pieces for more support.
What if they believe that the people are lying because they saw them in person? Do you think that's appropriate to say out loud? I don't think so.
I don't think so
I just
either.
don't. I really truly believe, like, and I'm someone who went through a Me Too case with my employers. You know, the best thing to do is to not even get involved, because the shame, the blame, all that is going to come down. And people think I'm so harsh on people, but let me tell you something. I stood up when something immediately happened, and I end up winning because I had the proof. See, my issue is I don't think a lot of these people have proof that they're
saying that.
quote unquote victims, because I don't care who doesn't believe you. I had a whole agency damn near not believe me, and I still came out on top. And I'm talking about in the political government space. I'm not talking about in no Hollywood. The Hollywood is an entity, but they don't run nothing. That's not no real power. The power is in the politics and the government. But, you know, I let people believe what they want to believe because they don't understand, follow the money. Hence why Jeffrey Epstein was so powerful. He had Acosta as his lawyer, a congressional lawyer who helped him get out of multiple cases. So that should tell you something right there. But, you know, people just like to be fixated on
celebrity.
Yeah.
Like, because who is Candice Owens to put this type of pressure on Hollywood? You know what I mean? Like, who is she? Why does anybody have to answer to her? Why does anybody owe her any explanation? I don't like it. Hold on. Oops.
You mind if I respond to that?
Sure.
Because I there are 3 points that were made that I'd like to respond to. First thing is, I'm rejecting the narrative that I've introduced race into this conversation. The conversation
you
became
literally
about
said
race,
you wanted to bring race up.
You did.
You literally said, I want to bring race up.
I
You literally started the conversation about race.
You did it.
All right, I'm going to ask you to allow me to finish a sentence uninterrupted the way you have, Candice. Then you can hear why you're actually not correct. Hear what I'm saying. When I said I want to bring race into this, it was in response to the point that Candice had made 5 minutes prior. When you watch this on TV, y'all, or on YouTube, rewind, then you'll see this. When she said LeBron James has spoken out for the Black community, right? And historically, but isn't saying anything here. That was the first time that race was mentioned. My invocation of race was in response to that. And as you conceded just a moment ago, when you disagreed with me, you were saying that you weren't asking all, you were saying that there's a relatively lower response from the Black community on this issue than prior issues.
Not Black community.
Again, my
don't misquote
invocation
me.
of race.
Not Black community, high profile celebrity.
Black celebrity.
Black
Fair enough.
It's a much smaller part of the community.
I agree with you, but the fundamental point here is when I said I'm introducing race, it was to respond to a claim that was already racialized around LeBron James 5 to 10 minutes prior. Now, to actually address the issue that I was responding to, because I didn't introduce race into the conversation, the idea here for me is when Harvey Weinstein does something, Hollywood has to respond. When Diddy does something, Black people have to respond. Now, I happen to believe that as a Black person with a public platform, an athlete, an actress, or a journalist, we should respond to the Diddy thing. I don't think that we should ignore our responsibility.
So what are you complaining about?
I'm okay, but my complaint is that when Black people don't do it, we are criticized differently than when the white guy doesn't do it. So
hang on. Mark, I'm sorry, but the idea that people were running around asking random white people in the street about Harvey Weinstein is ridiculous. They're not doing it.
I didn't say that.
And they're not doing it with random Black people in the street either.
I didn't say that.
I'm talking.
That's a straw man. That is a straw man.
No, it's not. The straw man argument is you.
Random white people.
No, you are conflating.
I didn't say random white people. I didn't say random white people in the street. I said white people in Hollywood.
Hang on.
I said white people in Hollywood.
You are.
Ciao. Hey, AT2.
They just didn't want to hear him. And that's why I can't give Piers Morgan. He's been a clown since he let his feelings show that Meghan Markle chose the prince over him. So, child, he been a dud.
Yes. And I just wish people stop letting him exploit our culture. Hello. You see what he did when Choke No Joke went up there and he plugged that the possible charges that will be coming down the pike are the Red Rum of Biggie and Tupac. And what did we see right after that? Tupac's stepbrother on his panel. Culture vulture. Child, people pay attention. He didn't care about these issues before. I ain't never heard Piers Morgan speak on hip hop.
they don't care about anything, but that just goes to show like how the consumer is. That's why I don't give a damn if they believe in our platforms or not, because we do the work and they'll go give the views to a fool who don't even give a damn about the community, the people it affects, nothing. He's looking for his next hit. And again, that is his prerogative, right? Because I'm all about make sure you get paid first, purse first always. But this just goes to show, like, he's only up there to cause chaos and confusion, because I have yet to see a Jeffrey Epstein victim on this platform. I don't know if there has been one, but where are they? Where is Garth Brooks' victim at? Why is she not up there? She's suing the richest man in country music, like who is literally, him and his wife combined are some pioneers. They do a lot. So where is that at? Where's the people who got something? I don't know. Since he said
the country music gatekeepers, and what is really pissing me off is this chick on the left here smirking and smiling and agreeing with Piers.
Oh, she does that for coin. Listen, she is bash the blacks for pay. She don't give a damn. And that's why when she got fired, she was about to set it off. But she remembered she had that NDA. At the end of the day, do what you need to do, but it's just very telling and it's very weird. Like your own countryman, Liam Payne, was unalived. Where is the group? Where are the boys from One Direction at? You don't want to interview them? That is a trending topic. People are saying he was red rummed. Like, Piers, please.
I had it on my show earlier. I was talking about it earlier. But you want to keep pushing this Diddy narrative. Why? Because he's trying to get his channel popping. That's what the algorithm loves, I guess. Let's get back into it.
White people in the street.
I understand, but I'm conflating two things.
That's not the same.
I'm conflating.
I know you are.
High-profile black celebrities and high-profile white celebrities, and how they responded to Weinstein and to Diddy, and it's been very different. The volume of white celebrities who denounced Weinstein was far higher than it's been with Diddy.
And my response to that is, when Weinstein happens, people didn't say, hey, where are the high-profile white Hollywood celebrities? What they said is, where are the high-profile celebrities? Where are the Hollywood types? They were asking Will Smith as much as they were asking Heidi Klum. When it comes to Diddy, they're only asking for black people.
Well, hang on, Candice, hang on. Again, Mark.
Hang on, I didn't finish the sentence yet. Let me finish the sentence before you disagree with it.
You're wrong.
Piers.
Candice literally mentioned Ashton Kutcher, who last time I checked is a white guy.
Mentioned Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher's white.
Okay,
he's white.
Again, I want you to hear what I'm actually saying, and I want you to actually hear what I'm saying and disagree with what I'm saying and not what I'm not saying. The conversation about Harvey Weinstein, and I challenge you to show me any piece of evidence where you called out and said, hey, I'd love to hear from some high-profile white celebrities. You never said white, you just said high-profile celebrities. Maybe to you, Hollywood just means white. But in general, the idea here for Weinstein was, we want his peers to speak out. We want his peers to say something. We want white people, black people, we just want his peers to say something. But when black people don't do it, it is framed as some kind of specific or unique moral failure. And that's the idea that I'm challenging here. Again, I want everybody to speak out against both of those monsters.
Okay.
But I'm saying let's not
slight
treat
flaw.
one
Okay, but
differently than the other.
With respect, the slight flaw is that Candice actually said LeBron and Ashton Kutcher. And last time I checked, Ashton Kutcher, and this may not be the case, but I believe he still identifies as a white guy.
Last I checked, you're not Candice Owens.
They're purposely not getting his point. Like, it's really pissing me off because they're not unintelligent. And I know that's a lot to say because Candice be over there tap dancing for the man, baby. Ooh.
Yes. But they purposely not trying to hear him out, and they trying to make it seem like he's unhinged. And I get that he's excited and everything, but I feel like they're doing it on purpose, and I can't stand the smirk on her face. Child, they are twisting his words. I get what he's saying, though. It's two different standards. I mean, they keep moving the goalposts depending on who it is. So I get what he's saying.
Last I checked, you're not Candice Owens. I'm criticizing you right now, Piers, not Candice Owens. So you can't say, well, Candice said it. You're not a buddy comedy here. I'm critiquing your approach and coverage of this conversation.
Right.
And you can't say, well, Candice said it. I didn't disagree with Candice. I disagree with you on that particular point.
Okay. Let's take a little beat.
I do want to say,
What are you talking about? Well, Candice said it.
You can't say,
Candice?
I don't think you could say, I would like to introduce race, and then 30 seconds later say, I did not introduce race. I mean, the records will show you definitely introduced race. And I brought up LeBron James, and for a very specific reason, because he was quite literally at the parties, and because he's used his platform to speak out on Black victimization, not because he was Black. I was pointing out the astounding hypocrisy. I didn't say, let's talk about LeBron James because he's a Black man. I mean, I would have brought up tons of other Black people and said, where are their voices? But it wouldn't have made sense because they don't hang out with him and they don't use their platforms. And I did bring up.
She brought up the people who, she only brought up the people who had an issue with her, who call her out on her BS about what she did with that George Floyd documentary, which again, she's entitled to do, but that's why she feels a way about the LeBrons, the John Legends. Chrissy Teigen didn't address her. She doesn't give a damn that Chrissy Teigen was going at teenagers, because when she went at that Black girl, she had nothing to say. When she was calling her Miss Shaniqua and all that, that's why I don't like Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen could go to hell.
She could go to all bubble fucks of hell. Okay, for all I care.
And I said John Legend married her knowing she was like that with her beard ass. So, excuse my French, I'll send you some money. But yeah, I just can't take it. Like, he's calling a spade a spade. You only brought up people who have an issue with you.
Right. She had an agenda. She had an agenda. She's taking this opportunity to troll people.
Ashton Kutcher as well, and very many other celebrities. I'm pretty sure Chrissy Teigen is not Black; she's Asian. So I'm completely confused, completely lost at what point you were trying to make there. I do think that you do tend to see things through the vein of race, because when people are just making a sound point about why it is that there is some interest in LeBron James' silence right now. And I think he should speak out because he had a friendship there and because he reports that he cares so much about Black victimization. And there was a long list of Black victims.
Right, and Mark,
I think it's very sound. Mark, you can disagree with it.
Yeah. And Mark, before you respond, Mark,
I agree with the point that you're making, Candice.
I want to ask you something.
Go ahead.
You've also, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said that there wouldn't have been the attention on the raid at Diddy's home, for example, if he'd been a white rapper. To which I would say, if that had been Eminem at the height of his powers.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I believe you said before in a previous debate or interview that there wouldn't have been the same attention that was given to the raid on Diddy's home if it had been a white rapper. To which I would say
that.
You didn't say that?
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
What did you say about that?
You can.
First of all, he using Eminem. Eminem been calling Diddy on his ish for years. Check the lyrics. Eminem been saying he has something to do with Tupac for years.
I think it's so disingenuous. Like,
yes.
And so what? And so what if he did say that? And why are we acting like like what he said wasn't wrong? When they did the breaking news at Jeffrey Epstein's house, a lot of people didn't know that happened. I knew he was in flip-flops with wet hair because it was the crack of dawn when they went.
Right.
So I don't know why people act like it. It wasn't until days later people started talking about it because of all the tapes. He had hard drives, these clear little hard drive things filled with illicit, explicit stuff, right? And they not once call out anybody to say, where's his friends? Where's the people that supported Jeffrey? They didn't. You know what they said? Donald Trump is an amazing man.
Right. Even though he was on the planes too. Child. It's the double standard for me. It just gives me a headache.
You can disagree with that point too, but you wouldn't be disagreeing with me.
Okay.
But feel free to make your Eminem argument.
So apparently on the documentary, well, just to clarify, on the documentary with TMZ, that's what I'm told is where you said that.
It's hard for me to imagine that had this been many other celebrities, particularly white celebrities, that their children would have been in handcuffs and they would have been forced to stare down the barrel of guns and seen armored tanks. It just seemed like a lot for a raid of a music producer.
Let me tell you something. I'm tired of people not acting like Diddy's kids aren't grown-ass men and that the Homeland Security, they were just doing their job the way they normally do. I don't think it had anything to do with them being Black kids. And I'm tired of people trying to drive that narrative. You didn't see them slamming them up against the wall. They follow procedure. Are you there? I think we lost Bree. I'm tired of people trying to draw that narrative. It pissed me off when Misa did it. These are grown men. Okay, there was a raid. They had to secure the house. And it wasn't just Diddy's sons in handcuffs. It was anybody that was in the house. I mean, come on. They got notice that GUNSs are in the house. They don't know what they walking into. So it's their job to secure the scene before they search it.
I just didn't like that they gave the heads up to media to be there. That was the only thing I questioned about the whole thing.
Right. But I'm just tired of people trying to drive this narrative like, oh, these are black boys. They had them in handcuffs and against the wall. Like, they did them wrong. Like, they had a warrant to execute, and they have procedures to follow. Hold on, we have a guest, Bree. Hey, Dustin.
Hey, Naughty Love. How you doing?
I'm well, and yourself. Thank you for joining. What are your thoughts?
I think this whole situation is sad, and I feel bad for the kids. Mostly, I feel bad for the kids because I feel like the kids are mostly affected by this. And I feel bad for the kids a lot.
Are you talking about Diddy's kids or the victims that are coming?
Both of them, all of them.
Okay, so as far as his kids, his daughters, his two twin daughters are the only ones that are minors. Justin, Christian,
and the new baby
and
as well.
And the new baby Love. They are minors. But as far as like Christian and Justin, they are grown men. And they're coming up in these lawsuits.
Oh, I didn't know they were mentioned in the lawsuit.
Yeah, they're coming up in these lawsuits, but people are trying to drive the narrative like Homeland Security mishandled them. On some, oh, these are black boys. Even their mom came out and said, she said something along the lines, these are my sons or boys, are trying to make it seem like they're young kids, but they are grown men.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that they were mentioned in the lawsuit. So
yes.
Yeah. I feel bad for the victim. Mostly, I feel bad for the victims.
Absolutely.
I hope they get their justice they deserve. So.
Absolutely. And now on that part, Dustin, we agree. Like, I'm definitely on the side of the victims.
Me too. I am too. Mm-hmm.
I just feel like some of the victims are getting overshadowed by some frivolous lawsuits. You know what I mean? And I think that's just not fair. And people need to think about who they're affecting before they file all these lawsuits. And if you really don't have any proof to prove what went on, what is your end goal? But I believe in my heart of hearts, like at this point, it's so many. There's no money at this point. You know what I mean?
They're not gonna get the money because there's just so many people. There's so many people filing in these lawsuits, but how much money do they have for these people for this lawsuit? But that's my question to that.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to get all the money that they deserve the money, but they don't going to get the money because I think they're going to run out of money before they get all these lawsuits.
Right.
I don't think they're going to run out of money. I think the powers that be are going to make sure them cases go away and that they never see any money because Diddy.
Yeah, I don't. You don't think they're going to get the money at all?
How else was he able to pay the house off in cash?
Right.
No. All his money is used for the lawyers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe you're right. This whole situation. Yeah. I hope so.
Right.
This whole situation has been all over my YouTube feed. So.
Right.
It's all over my Facebook feed, all over my YouTube feed. So it's been kind of thrown in my face about this situation. So it's like I feel bad for the victims a lot because I have my own situation. So I feel bad for the victims will.
I hear you, Dustin. I hear you. Let me address this comment. Rolando Holmes, Couture Bay. Look, you can't diss Candice, angry Black women and men won't ever comprehend their own ignorance. Y'all have been getting gaslighted by the den of cats just the beginning. Apparently, you've learned nothing.
Right.
Apparently, you do not listen to my commentary because the last thing I am is ignorant, Rolando.
I've been watching your videos and I appreciate your work that you've been doing, Naughty Love, for putting this work out, for putting
You know
all
what?
this stuff out.
It's always a hating hoe in the back wanting to sound like they smart, and it's always some twink and an unidentified PFP doing the absolute most. Get out of here. Scram.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dustin, so much. Let's get back into this commentary. Let's see, because it gets heated. Okay, Charlie?
Okay.
Right. I know the documentary you're referencing. I wish you would have watched it with all due respect, and then you would know I didn't.
Please sign the petition and urge Congress to.
I said that. What I did say was not the attention. Diddy is an international superstar. Black, white, red, or yellow. We should be watching Diddy. And there's no reason why race is playing into the why of why we're watching it. That had nothing to do with what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about was the actual nature of the raid. Typically, unless you believe, and this is what I was arguing at the time, unless you believe that Diddy was an armed threat, there was no need to handle his children, who were not at the time charged with anything in the way that they did. There was no reason to have SWAT, almost like the National Guard, this full military infrastructure, to do this. I think they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't have raided the house. I'm not saying they shouldn't have arrested Diddy. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that what my comparison is, they wouldn't have done that to Mark Cuban. That's my point. But there's now as more evidence comes out.
Hang on. Mark, hang on. On that point, you said they wouldn't have done it to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is a massive celebrity in America. If he had been doing what we now know from this charge sheet against P. Diddy, he's accused of doing, damn right they'd have done that to Mark Cuban. These are not like small.
Done what?
These are not small allegations.
Done what?
Well, have you read the
done
charge?
What?
Have you read the charge sheet against Diddy? You know what he's accused of.
That's not what I'm disagreeing. Again, you're saying.
I mean, on that point, I have to agree with Piers on that because he's charged of having GUNSs and things like that. So they don't know what they're going to walk into in that house. Somebody could start setting off rounds in the house and things like that. So that's why they had to secure everyone. But it wasn't just Diddy's sons in handcuffs. They handcuffed everybody that was present in the house. And I wish people would get that.
Yeah, they did it. They did a handcuff on that part. But they also went through the house and got everything out of the house and got all of the electronics out of the house, didn't they?
And they also found unmarked GUNSs, automatic weapons. Who's to say one of them would, like when they went up in there, they would have started letting off rounds. You know what I mean? That's why they handcuffed them. That's their job.
Mm-hmm.
Couture Bang.
I agree with that one. Mm-hmm.
I didn't have an issue with them being handcuffed. I just didn't feel like it needed to be televised. That was it.
Right. I mean, they won't televise what's going on in the courthouse right now, so why televise that? I hear you. Here we go.
You're saying the nature of the raid would not have been as over the top if it had been Mark Cuban because he's a white guy, right? Is that what you said?
I actually don't think it's quite that simple. I think the rapper part of it has a lot to do with it. I think they might have done that to Eminem. That's what I'm saying. It's not purely racial. I'm saying.
Well, what is the point you're making? I don't really understand it.
I promise you, just pro tip here, journalist to journalist. If you let me finish the sentence, you'll completely get what I'm saying.
Pro tip.
What I'm saying is that with Diddy, as opposed to say Mark Cuban, just to use that example, there's an assumption that even if Mark Cuban is committing awful acts, or Harvey Weinstein, we don't need tanks. We don't need to tie his children up and make them sit outside because there's no reason to believe that those children are going to do harm. There is a default assumption that there's going to be a level of danger attached.
I want to make this clear, Naughty Crew, because I believe in dealing with facts. Those are not children. They are grown men. They are grown men.
I get what he's saying though, and I think it just has everything to do with how they treat us versus them. And he can't really say it because he has a step and fetching Candice right there and a Piers Morgan who's intentionally acting like he doesn't understand where he's coming from. I didn't care that they were handcuffed. I just thought it was distasteful because they did have tanks at his house. I was like, what were the tanks for? Why was it recorded? And then we getting these weird pictures and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just thought everything about it was weird. It didn't make sense to me. That's just me. It's still not making sense now, but
fair enough. Fair enough.
That aren't even consistent with the charges. Again, he's a monster, right? But they don't usually break into homes with tanks and machine guns for child molesters, even though child molesters are the worst people in the world.
Well,
because there's no reason to believe they're going to be pulling out with AR-15s.
It depends how many guns they think the person has, I would imagine. Candice, back to you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring up a friend of mine, James O'Keefe, who got braided by the feds and had guns pointed at him over a diary, Ashley Biden's diary. He didn't even publish. He's a white guy, had nothing to do with anything, and eventually was not found guilty. So this is the way that they act during raids. Regarding his children, if you read the initial lawsuit with Lil Rod, there was a very credible allegation, which Lil Rod made, that he was there the night that Puffy Diddy, whatever his name is today, that his son was involved in the shooting that was in the bathroom. So it was obviously understandable that they may have thought, given the allegations, that his son had something to do with it. His son was listed all throughout the lawsuit. So when they were raiding them, they were probably also raiding the sons as well. That was my immediate assumption when I saw it. But I do think it's completely absurd to suggest that there was any sort of rapper or black motivation behind the raid. Like I said, James O'Keefe is a perfect example when they did not have
$1.5 million in prizes.
How come she don't ever have a black example of that?
Right. Never, right?
James O'Keefe in the manner that they did, and they did while he was in his boxers at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and they put they put guns to his head. So I just
but you see what she's saying? At 3 in the morning, 3 in the morning, not 9 in the morning. What, it went down at 11 in the morning. I think it was like 11 in the morning in California time. Like, did we get to see that though? No, that's what he's magnifying. I think it's the visualization, because it does put a stigma. We did not see them. The only thing we saw was Jeffrey Epstein being escorted out of his home. We didn't get to see the people in the house. Like, it was a lot. People walking in and out. That was not on
They had
video.
They had drones in their house.
Yeah, like, we saw everything. With Jeffrey Epstein, we didn't see everything. We saw like some people outside. We just saw him escorted out and them carrying somebody. We didn't get to see it, baby. It might as well be up for the next Bad Boys 5 movie, how they did that, because everyone was like, oh, okay.
Right. Dustin, do you have any thoughts?
No, I just think that people deserve the justice that they deserve, and it's very sad to me. The whole situation is very sad.
Right. We're seeing a family being torn apart before our eyes, and the kids are paying for the sins of the parents, essentially.
And I don't think that, and I also don't think that's fair. Sorry to interrupt you, Nadia, but I don't think that's fair for them to be paying for what DD did, and then they have to be affected by it as well.
Right. All right, here we go.
Right. You've just been with Kanye, Ye, over in Japan, I believe you saw him. And that happened at the same time that an 88-page lawsuit was filed against him, alleging that he drugged and raped an ex-assistant while at one of Sean Diddy Combs' parties. This came from an influencer and former OnlyFans star, Lauren Pisciotta, who's already sued him before. She claimed...
Now we moving to Kanye?
Ain't that her homeboy?
Brace yourself, Bree. Brace yourself.
Claims that the rapper regularly had sex with employees, had a rotating list of guests at his Yeezy company offices and makeshift bedrooms and so on. What's your reaction to that? I mean, is Ye potentially another Diddy here? What are we looking at?
So I actually didn't read the lawsuit because I just flew over from Tokyo yesterday, but were there videos and documentation of that, or is she just alleging that in a second lawsuit that she's filed? I'm asking seriously.
Let me send you some money right now because I'm about to cuss. Candice, you pissing me off.
You pissing me
off. Let me send you some money right now, Naughty, because
please donate to the channel because me and
not she standing with Big Dick Yay.
No.
Let me send some.
Now she ain't read the lawsuit. Now she don't have no knowledge. In that long fight from Japan, she ain't have time to read the lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean,
can I ask a question? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on, Mark.
Candice, and I mean this sincerely, if you read the lawsuit and it seems credible, I know you wanted to go through the legal process, but would you denounce Kanye's actions or the allegations against Kanye as
if
morally
there
wrong?
were ever a lawsuit as thorough, and I want to be clear, I'm the woman who stood up against the Me Too movement. I very much disagree with women dropping allegations absent any evidence and having their entire careers taken away, men having their entire careers. As much as it pained me, I stood up for Matt Lauer because I thought that what happened to him was wrong. The Diddy situation was completely different because the guy had pictures, photos, and documentation. Like I've never seen I've never seen so much evidence filed in a lawsuit in my entire life. So I have not looked at this lawsuit.
She is deflecting because honestly, Little Roz barely had real photos. Those photos look like they were from him hanging out. It didn't look like the acts because you had access up in there. It gave score and lever. I can't stand when men or women do what Candice is doing right now, because what are you talking about? He's in 2 lawsuits with Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just, and granted, it's this girl, but 2 lawsuits. There's a viral video of a singer who said they did something. It's on my channel. It's up. Like, Candice, because you was over there riding the now you want to, because you have close relation with him,
right?
And Diddy didn't have close relation with you because he knew you was a step and fetch.
Preach, not a step and fetch. But yeah, nah, she way too. I feel like she coddling Kanye, and Kanye would probably was in her ear like, "Oh, they have a whole agenda against me." I'm sorry. The way Kanye parades around his wife, I don't understand why she don't talk about that. She quick to call out the Kardashians for being whores, but you don't call him out for the way he paraded his wife around naked? You think that's normal? Oh, that aligns with your Christian views, Candice. Come on.
Could I just
go ahead, Dustin?
Can I say that Kanye needs some help? And that's all I'm gonna say to that, because Kanye needs a lot of help.
Understood.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We all have to protect our mental health. Absolutely. Here we go.
I don't know if I would file this under the Me Too thing where women just make allegations and then we're supposed to believe them. I don't believe in #BelieveWomen. I'm very against that. I've been vocally against that movement from the very beginning. Did not believe Amber Heard from the very beginning. So I would have to examine that particular lawsuit. But if there was ever anything filed as strong as what was filed against Diddy, and mind you, Kanye was the one who used his platform to speak out against Diddy before it even became popular, I would, of course, be saying something about that, because we're talking about an entire ring of abuse, drugs, pink cocaine. Again, these are allegations, but the pictures of the blood that he shot someone, I would be a complete hypocrite not to speak out and say, oh, well, he's my friend, so I'm totally okay if he's just shooting people in a bathroom and calling his friends to hide the evidence. I mean, I would imagine we're comparing apple to oranges, but I'm happy to be educated on that lawsuit because I haven't actually read through it.
And given you haven't read it, that's fair enough.
What about what went on at Donde Academy, Candice? How he treated those children. How he treated his staff. This is not the first lawsuit. All right, come on.
How is he? Yeah, I mean, when I last interviewed him was about a year ago, and he was pretty well all over the place. He'd been accused of making a number of anti-Semitic comments, obviously. We all know about that. He's kind of disappeared off the radar a bit. How is he?
He looked great. I mean, he's lost so much weight. He looked happy and healthy, and he essentially said that he needed to get out of Los Angeles. And I completely sympathize with that because I do believe that it is a demonic town. Hollywood has always, since its founding, been a town that was established by gangs. We're talking about MGM and Paramount and the origins of Hollywood. They were bootleggers that then became directors and the owners of companies. That's just the reality. And so I do think it was healthy for him to get out of that climate and to move somewhere where you don't have paparazzi following you all.
I'm really conscious about my nutrition, and Kachava makes my life so much easier.
Working on an album just by himself, and I think that isolation is good for him.
I mean, Mark, should there be forgiveness? Your response first.
I was just a little taken aback by that exchange just now. I mean, two things. One, on the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement doesn't argue and never has argued that we should prosecute people without evidence, or that women can make claims without evidence. Such an argument would presume that the woman's claim
Why is he defending Matt Lauer? Matt Lauer is a Me Tooer.
Go ahead, Aubrey.
Matt Lauer is a Me Tooer. Like, he wanted to be Roger Allies 2.0. He got what he deserved. That man is not no victim. They had to issue out multi-million-dollar lawsuits for the things he did. Let me go pull it up while you play this. Hold on. Let me pull it up so I can.
If you're on a date and get sexually assaulted, or you're in your bedroom and get sexually assaulted, and you go to the police and say, hey, this thing happened to me, the police would take your statement and assess it and look for more evidence. But your initial claim itself is evidence. Your witness is evidence. But if we say that women come forward and all they have is their story that they got raped, and that's not evidence.
No, that's not it. No, Mark, I think you're misconstruing what Candice.
People forget a lot of times when it is a SA situation or a graping situation, people forget a lot of times it's a one-on-one situation and it becomes a he said, she said. That's why it's so important to go to the police and go to the hospital and get rape kits done and things like that, so that you could back up your story, so it doesn't come down to he said, she said. But that's a lot of times the case. We all know predators and abusers, they love to isolate their victims.
The problem is she doesn't like Katie Couric, right? Katie Couric isn't the one who was the whistleblower, okay? Because she was over there allegedly messing with him, right? The problem was him out there doing explicit stuff for years. So guess what NBC did? They said you have to go. They issue millions of people. You know, he had to speak out and say, please don't punish my daughter for me. Okay? He was making millions, and he was not a nice guy. He was nasty on air. So why is he going up for this person? It's crazy to me.
Ciao.
And he had his social circle 6 years after firing, disgraced NBC. NBC had to cut millions, not just a little bit, millions. And it was multiple women, beautiful women. And he would use the fact that he was the golden boy because he had some of the most prolific interviews to date. I have to give him that. Great journalist, but he was a predator.
Predator. I mean that all his credibility goes out the window. It doesn't matter what you have done. Here we go.
Just said, unless I'm wrong, and I share her view on this whole you have to believe women, or men, by the way, who make allegations like this, I don't agree with that. You know, every part of my journalistic...
I don't agree with it either.
You know, I think the real trouble with the Me Too... Well, hang on. There were lots of good things that came out of Me Too. The real flaw with it was taking that as the principle of everyone had to be believed, whatever they were saying. Because actually, what everyone should be in that position, they should be taken seriously. It should be properly investigated by proper authorities, and justice should be seen to be done. That is how these things should be handled. Nobody should just be automatically believed, because that way is what led to a number of people getting cancelled left, right, and centre, when actually it turned out, in some cases, that they just did not deserve it. And Matt Lauer, I'd say, is a good example.
Yeah, and I can't stand Matt Lauer, so it pains me to use my platform to defend him.
I think you're being very impartial
against him.
Mark.
Yeah.
I didn't misconstrue what Candice said. There's just a difference slightly between what she said and what you just said. I don't agree with either of you fully, but I think there's a thing that we all do share, which is people be lying sometimes, right? People sometimes don't tell the truth, and we shouldn't assume that people are always telling the truth. The origins of Believe Women wasn't believe all women at all times in all places. There are ways that has become the sort of almost caricature of the Me Too movement. But the idea here was that as a culture, really a rape culture, not just in the United States, but globally, we used to begin from a default assumption that women were lying. That when a woman said she was raped, the first thing we'd say is, "What were you wearing? What did you drink? You know, are you dating him? Did you say yes? How many times?"
I get where he's going with this. The system essentially re-victimizes the victim with how they question the victim, and it just re-traumatizes you all over again. I think that's where he's going.
And our default position was of doubt and skepticism and rejection.
You know what I think I would say to
that? So believe women begins from a place of that. But I agree with you.
Well, you shouldn't
Some
have
people lie.
You shouldn't have an instinctive.
Everybody else.
Look, you shouldn't have an instinctive disbelief of people who make allegations either. Right? I don't believe you should fully believe or disbelieve anyone who makes claims. You take them seriously. That's what people want. And they also want to feel, I mean, look, I think the same in America.
I think we're saying the same thing.
Well, in the UK and America, the number of people of convictions for rape, for example, in the UK is something like 2 or 3% of all cases that go to court end up with convictions. That's clearly ridiculous. So there are lots of flaws in this system, which Me Too highlighted, which I agree with. But I think this idea that you automatically believe people or disbelieve them, both of them are equally dangerous. I want to just bring in another guest and keep you two here for a moment. It's Lord Jamar, who we interviewed recently.
Okay, it's about to go down, guys. Okay, brace yourself, because this guy, I got some words for him. Do any of you have any thoughts on what was just said when it comes to Me Too and whether we should believe victims? You know, I'm on the side of this, and because I know people that were victims, and when they contacted me, I immediately instructed them to go to the hospital. Once you go to the hospital and you tell them what happened, they'll contact the authority. It's a chain of events that will happen.
I'm on the victim side. Naughty love.
Yes.
I'm on the, if something happened to you, don't go take no shower. Go straight. If you gotta lie, say, "Oh, I need to go here." Lie. Have the Uber say, "Hey, drop me off right here," and then run somewhere. Because I don't care. Make sure you get that evidence, because people don't understand. Just simple contact hand, specimen, appendage. They can find it. That's what the DNA is for. We are so savvy. So I don't understand the people staying and showering and so comfortable to stand there. I don't get none of it.
I don't either.
I don't believe all victims, but I believe people who want to see justice happen. I don't believe in using the judicial system for your own personal gain unless you are a victim. As someone who was a victim, I used the system worked for me.
Right.
And I will keep advocating that. Wait in 10 years, 5 years, you allow this person to create a new persona and evolve. And then people are like, well, why you didn't say something 10 years ago? I think those are valid questions when we're talking about things, people being persecuted for something that happened 30 years ago, 50 years ago. Like, what?
And silence creates more victims. Like by you speaking up and doing the right thing and taking the proper precautions and going to the authorities, that prevents more victims from coming about. Dustin, you were saying that you stand on the side of the victims always?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I stand on the side of the victim. Yes, I do.
Anything else you want to add?
No, that's okay.
All right.
You can move on.
All right. Thank you. Here
Thank
we
you.
go. Mm-hmm.
Recently about Diddy, and who went viral this week with his comments on Kamala Harris, which I'll come to in a moment. But well, Jamar, first of all, you've been listening to this debate we've been having. What is your view about where we are with this Diddy scandal?
It's been quite a debate. I'm not surprised with everything that's going on with Diddy. I do feel his peers should speak out, black, white, or indifferent. What he's done, what he's being accused of doing is reprehensible, and we need to speak out about it.
Do you think he's coming out of prison, or is that it for him?
I don't know. It looks bad for him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he doesn't seem like the type that would do well in prison, in my mind. If he was really forced to have to do some time, I don't know if he's built for that. So you'd have to see what happens.
Well,
I think he'll fit right in. He could get all the booty he won at that time, okay?
Can I just move to the stuff that went viral with you, Lord Jamar? This is your stuff about Kamala Harris, which, are you surprised about the amount of pickup that got?
Hold on, guys. Let me give you a little background. Now, Candice Owens has been on her platform debunking Kamala's race and if she's really black, and she feels like it's a whole conspiracy. They put this whole storyline together for Kamala. So Piers know what he's doing. He loves to shake the tree, and that's what is about to go down. Okay, here we go.
A little bit, yeah. But not really, because I think people are a little shocked that someone like me, from a group brand Nubian that they feel is pro-black, why would I come out in support of Donald Trump or go against a Kamala Harris who they are trying to put up as a black woman, and I don't see it.
Well, let me. I'm going to play the first of all the Barack Obama clip.
He's not even
and I'm
married
going
to
play
a
the
black
clip that
woman.
you
So
said
what
in
is he
response to it. Let's
talking
play the
about?
two.
He's not married to a black woman?
Soleil is not a black woman.
Wake it up, Bree.
Since when has Soleil been a black woman? Let me look that up. Because I could have sworn she was like Indian or something. Let me look that up.
I'll play this meantime. Hold on.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses.
I just wanted my naughty crew notice another topic about an issue that in regards to the black community. I just want to point that out, okay? Not Liam Payne, not Garth Brooks. Another issue around the black community.
I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for it.
And now I want to play the clip from Lord Jamar talking about that.
Hold on. And Naughty Crew, I spoke about this clip on my channel with President Obama. And I've been saying it from the very beginning. Once Kamala became a candidate, I said it. A lot of men, black, white, or indifferent, will not vote for her strictly because she's a woman, because they're sexist.
Listen, he is married to Soleil, who is of West African, East African, Tamil, South Indian, okay, not black, Native American descent. You're married to a Kamala Harris your damn self. So, sir, stop it.
Stop it. Here we go.
Well, I feel that she's so bad that guess what? I might just go around and vote for Trump. And this is my first time saying this out loud. But y'all think you're going to shame somebody or bully into voting for this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And now you're going to make me be Mr. Anti. You keep coming at me with this bullshit. You keep coming at me talking about, oh, it's a shame that you're not supporting a black woman. And she's not black.
Now, Mark, you know, let me ask you honestly, Mark, if this had been the other way round, if this had been, hang on, Jamal, Lord Jamal, I'll come to you in a sec. I just want to get their reaction to what we've just played because it's gone viral, as I said.
Please thumbs up the video. Please thumbs up the video. And the reason why I wanted to do a reaction to this Not a Crew, I think it's important that we have these conversations. All opinions are appreciated as long as you're respectful. Girl, he ain't even registered to vote. Girl, wake it up.
I don't think so.
He is not even registered to vote.
Nope. Somebody found out on Twitter. Leave it to the FBI social media crew and CIA Instagram crew. They found out he's not even registered to vote. And somebody said he's paid by somebody who sponsored Donald Trump. So we know why he's speaking.
Oh, so he's a paid informant. That is crazy. I'm sorry. You know, I went right on the Twitter.
Yes, they got it on Twitter, baby. They have been.
You know, if it had been the other way around.
All right, here we go.
If you had a former white president saying you've got to vote for Trump if you're white, you'd have gone absolutely nuts. So why is it okay for Barack Obama to order black people to vote for Kamala Harris, given how unpopular she currently is to the extent where Trump is ahead in 5 of the 7 swing states? Why should they?
So things. First, no one should vote for anybody based on identity politics. You should never vote for somebody because
so Obama's wrong.
Black, right? Yeah, Obama's wrong. I mean, I didn't vote for him.
I love that.
Like, oh, Obama's wrong. Yeah, Obama's wrong. Yeah, so
we all agree.
But no, we don't all agree though, because I don't think though. I think Obama's wrong for several reasons in that video. But Obama's not arguing that you should vote for Kamala Harris because she's black. He's arguing you should vote for them because you're black. In other words, she best represents your interests. If I were running right, and if I'm a Green Party member,
That's
right?
Not what he was
I haven't
saying.
Voted Democrat.
He was playing the race card. He was playing a skin color card. He was saying if you are black, you have a duty to vote for the black candidate.
Yes.
You don't.
Listen,
as Lord Jamal rightly said in his
saying.
furious rant about it, why?
Why
should he be told who to vote for?
Okay, first of all, Piers, again, you just said I'm bringing in the race card when the question you asked me was, should Obama be telling people to vote for people because they're black?
I said Obama played the race card, not you. I said Obama did.
Oh, then I misheard you. I apologize. I apologize. I misheard you. I'm wrong. You're right. So to the point, Obama is saying that black people, again, I disagree with him, but let's disagree with him for the right reason. He's saying that as black people, vote your interest. Don't reject this person. As a black person, you should vote for the person that uplifts the black community. That's her. And don't let your patriarchy, don't let your hatred of women, don't let your this make you not do it. My issue with it is it frames black people and black men in particular as pathological and people who act against their interests and acts as if black men don't. Also, it's ahistorical. Black men actually do vote Democrat. I argue more than they should. So I think it's wrong for lots of reasons. I disagree with Jamar, though, my brother, calling her. And again, I heard a bleep. I've been in the hood a long time. From that context, it sounded like you were calling her the B word. I couldn't see it, but I heard it. I'm not going to vote for that. Bleep sounded like the B word. I can't imagine a circumstance where we need to call her that. You know, in real life and in music, and there's just no reason for that. She doesn't deserve that any more than she deserves to be told that she's not qualified to run a Dunkin' Donuts. Those types of comments, I think, are.
Wake it up, Lamount. Hold that man accountable. Why he had to go that far and call her out her name?
Unnecessary, even if you might agree that black people shouldn't be sheep. How does she disrespect you?
By placating to me, by giving me word salads and all kind of nonsense, acting like she doesn't have to answer questions, being the artful dodger. That's very disrespectful.
For him to be married to Soleil, he is
well, listen,
a nasty
first of all,
man.
the platform I was on.
Go ahead, Bree.
For him to be married to Soleil, who's all about love, light, and all this other stuff, that's not what he's giving. And he's a clown. And this is why I can't get down with these backpack ninjas, these shea butter babies, because they're always, oh.
But he didn't have that same energy for Vlad TV the way he do for Kamala Harris, okay?
He was begging on bended knee to get paid.
Right?
Where he was working for free.
But this is the sexism I'm talking about. You understand? Like, he don't have that same energy for that clear man over there that he was pandering to and working for free. And let him exploit and play him.
With his connects, okay?
This is almost over, thank God.
On was a different kind of platform. We was, you know what I mean? It's a much looser platform. It's more hip hop orientated. And if she wants to get down, act like she's black, well,
she is black, man. She is black. That's the other piece. I don't want to interrupt Candice.
Wait. Not him calling her to the whatever.
I know Candice got stuff to say. I want to hear Candice.
Black.
I'm sorry. She is black,
all,
and you're being particularly hypocritical, bro.
She's not
bro, you've been real hypocritical.
Let me clear two things up. First of all, Piers, you had a guest on named VJ or something that said I never voted or something like that. I don't know where he pulled that out his ass from, but yes, I have. I actually voted for Obama the first time around. I got caught in that nonsense. But also, that comment that you're showing me was not in response to what Obama said. I said that prior to Obama coming out trying to be the father of, you know, black men and all this type of stuff.
Right.
But it was it sounded like it went with it.
It did, yeah.
But in response, listen, Barry, you're not our father, and we're not going to just, you're not going to shake the finger of condemnation at us and think that you're going to shame us into doing what you want. We're not, you know, we're waking up as black people right now, and we're thinking for ourselves, and we're not just going along with the Democratic Party. First of all, I'm a registered independent, so don't act like I'm waving the Republican flag. But when it comes to leadership and all this type of thing, I don't see why we're trying to give this woman a promotion. She had one job, which was the border. She failed at that. They kept her in the background this whole time. I saw what they were going to do with her from the beginning, and I don't feel that she's the one. I'm sorry.
And by the way, you are absolutely
no.
I know, Jamar, you are perfectly entitled. I want to bring in Candice, who's been waiting patiently. I mean, Candice, this whole sort of premise, and I'm glad Lord Jamar clarified he said that before Obama spoke, although his answer clearly would have been exactly the same. The response would have been the same, because it's all part of the same thing, which is this sort of weird thing, which frankly is quite racist. There's another way to look at it, that you should judge according to your skin color and feel a duty, a compulsion to do so, seems to me to be racist.
I'm Bull Swanky. Okay, they took one little soundbite of what he said and purposely cut out the whole aspect of what Obama said. Now, do I agree with him telling people that they should vote for Kamala? No, I do not. But I feel like, right, look at his face. I feel like people are just misconstruing his message. I really, really do. Hurry up, y'all.
It is fundamentally racist, and it's something that I think Black people are right to be upset about. And then there's also this. You are correct to say that there's nothing about Kamala Harris or Barack Obama, for being frank, that is Black. I covered this on my show yesterday, went through Barack Obama's history. There is something that is very cartoonish about them working to Blackify a politician before they run for office. And what I mean by that is, like, Barry Soetoro, first 8 years of his life grew up in Indonesia. Okay. Then he was with his white mother and his Indonesian stepfather. He then went to Hawaii, which had a population of just 5,000 Black people. 86% of them were in the military, and attended a school that is $31,000 per year. And it was all white people. He was raised by his white grandparents, the Dunnans. He's never lied about this, by the way. He then went off to college and had a white dorm mate, dated a white woman. There's nothing about Barack Obama's history that gives him, in my viewpoint, like the stepping ground to be talking to the brothers about the Black American experience. If you've ever even been to Hawaii, it doesn't even feel like America. Genuinely, it feels like we took this country from an Asian country, took this state from an Asian country. And so when you realize that and you see how right before they run, suddenly the...
Go ahead, Brie.
I don't like what she said about Hawaii, as if it's just Asians there. It's all walks of life. Like this, mind you, this is the woman who has Barack Obama's herself. 2 of them.
The story changes. They drop a book and they work to blackify themselves. Obama didn't know his father, his Kenyan father growing up. And now all of a sudden
But he has a Kenyan father. Doesn't that make him Black? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But because he grew up around his Indonesian family and raised by his white grandparents and went to college and this and that, he's not Black. Come on, Candice. Come on with some more of your bull.
Wants to lean into this stereotype. To me, it feels like they're both wearing blackface. I can't sort through all of Kamala's various accents. There's so many of them. She's in front of a Latina crowd. Suddenly she's Selena, and she's speaking like a Latina. And then she's in front of a Jamaican crowd and she's dropping man. I can't deal with it. It is way too much Hollywood acting for me. Then she's got the black accent going and girl, what are you talking about? She's in front of a white crowd. She's speaking like a California Valley girl. I don't trust it. I just do not trust somebody that slips that quickly through so many personalities. There's nothing about her upbringing, extraordinarily wealthy. She was sworn in Congress as an Indian American. Her mother is Indian. She grew up with an Indian experience and was proud of that until she ran for office for president of the United States. And that is something that I am not comfortable with. I do not accept this narrative that she should be speaking about herself as a Black woman. It's not okay, and I fully reject it.
Okay, Mark, I just want to play you a quick clip from Kamala Harris talking to Roland Martin, listing all the reasons Trump is dangerous for Black people. I'll get your response.
He is not looking out for folks when he was a landlord and would not rent to Black families, sued for it. When he took out a full-page ad in the New York Times against those 5 teenagers, Black and Latino, who were innocent, saying they should be executed in Central Park 5. When you look at the first Black president of the United States, and he had birther lines, and now you look at Black immigrants, legal immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, and he gets on a debate stage and says they're eating their pets? Come on. This man is dangerous.
And my question, Mark, is simply this. If he's so dangerous to Black people, why is it that his popularity is growing, particularly with Black men, and Kamala Harris is falling from where it was with Joe Biden, who was white?
Well, I think part of it is because of the steady disinformation and misinformation campaign. Again, I am a critic of Kamala Harris. I'm literally watching her co-sign and underwrite as vice president and on the campaign trail a vicious genocide in Gaza. I ain't got no time to support or defend Kamala Harris on a lot of issues. I think there's a very practical, pragmatic reason to vote for her, and that is to say, I don't want Donald Trump. And I think a lot of people are making that choice, but the people who are not are often being fed misinformation, including what's just been said by my dear colleagues here and you, Piers. You cracking it up, but a lot of it is just not true. And I'm just gonna say it real fast. First. I didn't say you said it. I said what they said. So first, the question of qualification. First, Jamar said again, she only had one job in this border. That's just not true, right? That's not the only.
She was the border czar.
Vice president's lots of jobs.
And now
I'm disagreeing with the claim that she had one job, not that she didn't have that job.
She was given specific responsibility for the border, and now everyone's rushing to pretend she wasn't. The same people who literally called her the border czar on liberal shows.
I'm not disagreeing with that point.
They didn't.
Okay.
What other public job did she have? Like, they kept her in the background for a reason, for a very long time.
Who's the president pro tem? Who's the president pro tem of the Senate? President pro tem of the Senate.
All right, I can't no more. All right, guys. What are your closing thoughts? I mean, we just going in circles at this point.
Piers got what he wanted. He was one step black outrage, so he can get that coin. He saw what Jack could do, and now he wants more of it. And Lord Jamar is the biggest coon of them all. I told y'all gotta watch some Backpack Ninjas because they will sell you out the moment they can. Talking about he's a registered independent voter. Did he just get registered over there? Because he wasn't registered when they was dragging and tagging him, and it's all on Twitter.
Oh my God, Dustin, what are your closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts on the DD situation. I think that we need to stay prayed up for DD, and I don't think he's gonna get out of. I don't think he's gonna get out of jail anytime soon or prison, for that matter. I think he's gonna be staying in there for a long time.
Right.
So we need to stay prayed up on that situation, and on the voting poll situation. Whoever wants to vote for whoever is going to vote for whoever, but I think we will be in a better situation if we had Kamala Harris, because I definitely don't think Trump would be the best thing for America right now.
Thank you so much, Dustin. And as you can see, like, people are very divided. I always advocate on my channel, just make sure you get out here and vote. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. You have to choose the best candidates policies that suits your family, your life, your community, right? But as you can see, it's a lot of people that are putting out a lot of false information and try to drive these false narratives without no proof or any facts to back up what they're saying. Okay, and Lord Jamal, I don't even think he even cares about politics, not one bit. But because it's a hot topic right now.
I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, because it's a hot topic right now, he's going to say the most outrageous thing to go viral. And that's all he cares about, is going viral. And I say, Lord Jamal, where was that same energy for Vlad TV when he was exploiting you? Bree?
Oh, he didn't have that energy. Oh, sorry. He didn't have that energy at the same time, but that's but he has. It's funny. It's funny how he has the energy now. That's a red flag. That's a red flag to me, Naughty Love.
Yeah, and I don't take nothing. I take everything he say and it go in one ear and out the other. He has no credibility to me. Go ahead, Bree.
Period. That's all I'm gonna say. Period. Like, vote for who you want to vote for, but make sure you're voting in the best interest of you. And I'm sorry, my rights as a law-abiding citizen cannot be put on the line because I don't want to see a woman in the White House. I think that's crazy. We've allowed white men to run this nation for centuries. Like, what is one woman gonna do? Bring peace? Y'all don't want that?
Right. Well, I appreciate y'all joining me on this panel. It was a long panel, so I appreciate both of you hanging in there. I just had to react to it because I was like, oh, look at. But shout out to Lamount Hill for holding it down. Like, I don't agree with everything he said, but yeah, shout out to him for holding Lord Jamar accountable, holding Candice accountable, and challenging her and challenging Piers Morgan.
Yes. And thank you for having me on, Naughty Love.
Oh, you're always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, Dustin. Y'all have a good day.
Nice meeting
you. You too. All right, guys. Everybody, please like, comment, share. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I appreciate every last one of you joining me. We're on our path to 5K subs. You know, whenever I hear interesting topics where we can build good conversation and drive positive conversation, I'm going to break into my platform. And I felt like we needed to comment on Pierce's show. And to me, I stand by, he's a culture vulture. And he's trying to exploit our people. And he did not bring up not one topic that affects his community. I find that quite odd. I really, really do. So I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed evening, Naughty Crew. And make sure, as you move through this world, you don't get
been swallowed up.
Don't get swallowed up by the evils of this world. Make sure you use your logical minds to think through things, because that's what they want to. They want to take over our brains and control our thinking. But Make sure you do this.
Ever in life, I stand on business. You drop me somewhere, I stand on business. You drop me in your hood, I stand on business. I don't feel like you stand on business. I've been stood on business. I've been stood.
Make sure you stand on business, Naughty Crew. 10 toes down. I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed evening. Until next time, Naughty Crew, I'm out. 1.